The stage lights were blinding, hot, and impossibly intimidating. A scrawny boy stood there, clutching a beaten-up guitar that looked almost too big for his thin arms. His fingers trembled, not just from the cold air conditioning of the massive studio, but from the crushing weight of every gaze in the audience. His name was Eli Turner, 14 years old, and this was his one chance to change everything. The judges sat in a perfect row of scrutiny, each with expressions that said, "Another kid with a guitar." The crowd murmured quietly, their interest flickering like weak candlelight, and from the shadows backstage, a frail woman, his mother, watched through watery eyes. Her oxygen tank hissed softly beside her, a reminder of the battle she was losing. A boy from nowhere, Eli came from a small town you'd never find on a map, a forgotten patch of dust and old trucks. His father had left when he was 6, and his mother, once a singer in a small-town bar, had been too sick to work for years. He spent his childhood busking on sidewalks, playing with missing strings and broken picks, collecting crumpled dollar bills in a cracked guitar case. Every note he played wasn't just music, it was a prayer. A prayer for rent, for food, for his mom. One cold night, when his mother's health took another turn, Eli promised her, "I'll make them hear me, Mom. The whole world will know you're sighing." So he auditioned for the biggest talent show in the country, and somehow, by miracle or mercy, he made it to the live stage. The room goes quiet. The host asked gently, "What are you going to sing for us today?" Eli swallowed, his voice cracking. "Hotel California," by the Eagles. A few people in the crowd chuckled quietly. It was an ambitious choice, a song even seasoned musicians feared to touch, but Eli just nodded, closed his eyes, and took a deep breath. As his fingers brushed the strings, the first notes rang out, soft, haunting, and impossibly pure. His voice followed, rough at first, but then it settled, warm and raw, like honey over gravel. On the dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair. Every lyric seemed to carry the weight of his entire life. His voice wasn't perfect, but it was real. It was human, and slowly, the crowd that had laughed fell silent. The judges leaned forward. The cameraman stopped moving. It was as if the entire world had frozen, just to listen. The story behind the sighing. As the song built toward the iconic chorus, flashes of Eli's life seemed to spill into every note. The nights he slept beside his mother's hospital bed, the empty dinner plates, the years of being invisible. He wasn't just singing Hotel California. He was living it, the loneliness, the beauty, the pain of being trapped in a dream that never seemed to let you go. And when he hit that final chorus, "You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave," his voice cracked, but he didn't stop. Tears rolled down his cheeks, catching the stage lights like tiny stars. The last chord faded into silence. For a few long seconds, nobody moved. Then, the room erupted. The audience shot to their feet, roaring and clapping and screaming his name. One of the judges, an older woman known for her brutal honesty, had tears streaming down her face. The golden moment. She pressed her hand to her heart, whispering that there was something else. Before Eli could even breathe, one of the other judges, a tall man known for never giving praise, stood up, looked at his fellow panelists, and slammed his hand down on the golden buzzer. The sound thundered through the hall, and golden confetti exploded from above. Eli froze, staring as the glittering rain fell over him. The crowd went wild, chanting his name. He dropped his guitar, and covered his face. Overwhelmed, the judge walked onto the stage, placed a hand on Eli's shoulder, and said softly, "Kid, that wasn't just a cover. That was your soul speaking." Eli looked out into the audience, to the corner, where his mother stood, crying harder than anyone in the room. She pressed her trembling hand to her lips, mouthing the words, "You did it." Backstage tears. When the cameras stopped rolling, Eli ran straight to her. She hugged him tightly, her breathing shallow, but her smile radiant. "You made them listen, Eli," she whispered. "You made them feel." For the first time in years, Eli didn't feel small. He didn't feel invisible. He felt seen. A few weeks later, that clip, his raw, broken version of Hotel California, went viral across the world. Millions watched. Millions cried. Comments poured in. "I've never felt a song like this before." This boy sang pain like poetry, the best performance of the season. And though fame and record deals came knocking, Eli only wanted one thing, to make his mother proud. The promise. A year later, as his mother's health declined, Eli sat by her hospital bed, holding her hand. He sang to her softly, just like he did when he was a kid, that same song, the one that changed their lives. When he reached the final verse, she smiled faintly and whispered, "Keep singing, my boy. The world needs your voice." Those were her last words. At her funeral, Eli didn't cry on stage. Instead, he sang, because she had taught him that sometimes music was the only way to speak when your heart was breaking. And as his voice filled the church, people wept, realizing they weren't just hearing a boy sing, they were hearing a legacy of love. Years later, Eli grew up to become one of the youngest musicians to headline world tours. But no matter how big the stage, he always kept one thing the same: the old, scratched guitar with his mother's initials carved down the back. Before every show, he'd whisper, "This one's for you, Mom." And every time he sang Hotel California, the crowd would light up their phones, a sea of stars. Just like the night he earned that golden buzzer, it wasn't just a song anymore. It was a story, their story, of pain, love, and the kind of hope that refuses to die. Narrator. Closing words. Sometimes, a single voice can remind the world what real music feels like. Sometimes, a broken guitar and a mother's love can move mountains. And sometimes one performance can change a life forever. If you felt it, if it touched your heart even a little, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that prove kindness, love,